Imagine this. The scorching sands of modern-day Iraq hold whispers of a people whose ingenuity gave birth to civilization itself. Writing, mathematics, the wheel. These were not mere conveniences, but monumental leaps born from necessity. Yet, as powerful as they were, their grandeur crumbled, swallowed by time and history. What if I told you the Sumerians, a society so advanced they seemed almost alien in their brilliance, might still influence our world today? Their myths, their cities, and their innovations laid the foundation of our modern existence. But who were they really? What mysteries do they still hold? Stay with us as we peel back the layers of history to explore the enigmatic rise and fall of the world's first civilization. The story begins in a land called Mesopotamia, a name derived from Greek, meaning the land between two rivers. Nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates, this fertile crescent wasn't just a place. It was a crucible of human progress. The rivers weren't merely waterways, they were lifelines, carving out fertile soil from otherwise harsh, arid lands. But nature wasn't always kind. Floods could be devastating, wiping out entire settlements. The Sumerians tamed these forces, transforming chaos into prosperity. They built irrigation systems that rivaled modern engineering, diverting waters to their fields and turning deserts into havens of abundance. Yet here's a question to ponder. Why did this cradle of civilization emerge here? Could it be coincidence? Or was Mesopotamia uniquely suited for something far greater? Some scholars even suggest that its geography, accessible yet isolated, created the perfect environment for innovation. Now imagine walking through Uruk, one of their first cities. The air buzzes with the sounds of bustling markets. Merchants shout as caravans loaded with lapis lazuli and barley weave through narrow streets. It's a sensory overload of smells. Freshly baked bread, burning incense, and the earthy aroma of clay bricks baking under the sun. This wasn't just a city. It was a hub of culture, trade, and religion. It's hard to overstate the brilliance of Sumerian innovations. Picture this. You're standing in a field where farmers have harnessed water to create lush, golden waves of barley. The Sumerians didn't merely plant seeds, they revolutionized agriculture. They built canals, dikes, and reservoirs, mastering irrigation long before the concept existed elsewhere. And then there's writing. On clay tablets, they inscribed their lives, laws, and legends in cuneiform, a system that began as pictograms but evolved into a full-fledged script. Think about this. Every novel, every contract, and every text you've ever read owes its existence to these ancient symbols. But why invent writing in the first place? The answer lies in their booming trade networks. They needed a system to track transactions, from livestock to grain. Even their mathematics was groundbreaking. They gave us the base 60 system, the reason our clocks have 60 minutes and our circles 360 degrees. Have you ever wondered why? It's because their understanding of numbers was as practical as it was visionary, tailored to calculate vast tracts of farmland and celestial movements. But perhaps the most extraordinary invention was the wheel. Imagine the first time someone saw a cart roll effortlessly over uneven terrain. It was transformative, a leap that propelled humanity into an age of efficiency. Sumerian mythology wasn't just a belief system, it was a lens through which they understood the universe. Their gods were not distant deities, but tangible forces shaping daily life. Anu ruled the heavens, Enlil commanded the winds, and Inanna, the goddess of love and war, inspired both adoration and terror. Their stories reflected their struggles and aspirations. Take the Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's oldest known epic. It tells of a king seeking immortality, only to discover that true legacy lies in the mark we leave on others. Can you see the parallel to our modern quests for meaning? The Sumerians built monumental ziggurats, massive temple towers that reached toward the heavens. Imagine standing at the base of one, the sheer scale overwhelming. These structures weren't merely places of worship, they were centers of power, where priests mediated between gods and mortals. And here's a curious connection. Many of their myths, from the Great Flood to the Garden of Eden, resonate with later biblical stories. Could the Sumerians be the hidden architects of the narratives that shape our religions today? What was it like to live in a Sumerian city? Picture narrow streets lined with houses made of sun-dried bricks. The walls are smooth, with small doorways to keep out the desert heat. Inside, families gather around clay stoves, sharing meals of bread, dates, and yogurt. Socially, the Sumerians were highly stratified. Priests and rulers sat atop the hierarchy, their power seen as divinely ordained. Artisans and traders formed a burgeoning middle class, while slaves and laborers toiled in fields and construction projects. But life wasn't all work. Festivals brought the cities to life with music, dancing, and games. The Sumerians were beer enthusiasts, and they even had songs dedicated to their favorite brews. Can you imagine raising a clay mug in a lively tavern, surrounded by the hum of laughter and debate? Despite their achievements, the Sumerians faced challenges that even their ingenuity couldn't overcome. Over time, their once fertile lands began to salt due to over-irrigation, crops failed, and cities weakened. External pressures mounted as neighboring empires, like the Akkadians and Babylonians, absorbed their territories. But what if their fall wasn't just environmental or political? Some researchers suggest internal strife, class struggles, religious discord, or even loss of faith in their gods played a role. Could it be that the very complexity of their society sowed the seeds of its collapse? As their cities crumbled, their innovations and myths endured. Hammurabi's Code, the first known legal system, built on Sumerian laws. Later civilizations adopted their architectural styles, their gods, and even their language. The sands of Mesopotamia continue to whisper secrets to those who listen. In recent years, groundbreaking discoveries have added fascinating layers to the story of the Sumerians. In 2016, archaeologists unearthed a Sumerian burial site near Ur, containing intricately crafted jewelry, musical instruments, and tools. What's remarkable isn't just the craftsmanship, but the sheer global reach of the materials: lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, gold from Anatolia, and shells from the Gulf. These findings suggest that Sumerian trade networks were far more extensive than previously imagined, connecting cultures across thousands of miles. But here's a twist. Some experts now argue that the Sumerians might not have been indigenous to Mesopotamia. Linguistic studies propose that their unique language, unrelated to any other, hints at a migration from a yet unknown region. Could the Sumerians have been refugees of an even older, lost civilization? This theory connects them to broader questions about the origins of human societies, fueling debates in both archaeology and anthropology. If you're fascinated by these discoveries, drop a comment with your favorite theory. Were the Sumerians pioneers or inheritors of an even greater mystery? Here's a thought experiment. What if Sumerian cities were the prototypes for the smart cities of tomorrow? Their urban planning, complete with centralized temples, marketplaces, and irrigation systems, laid a blueprint for interconnected urban hubs. Imagine applying their principles to modern challenges. Could we learn from their balance of nature and technology to create cities that thrive in harmony with the environment? Some architects and engineers are already exploring this idea. Vertical farming, water recycling, and sustainable urban layouts mirror ancient Sumerian practices. The Ziggurat, for example, could inspire energy-efficient skyscrapers that integrate green spaces and solar panels. In this light, the Sumerians weren't just ancient innovators. They might be visionaries whose ideas are only now being fully realized. What do you think? Could the lessons of the Sumerians guide the cities of the future? Share your thoughts below, and let's brainstorm. The Sumerian flood myth, recorded in the Epic of Gilgamesh, resonates with stories from cultures across the world. From the biblical tale of Noah's Ark to Hindu legends of Manu's survival during a great deluge, these shared narratives beg the question, were these myths independent creations, or did they stem from a shared ancestral memory? Consider this. Ancient trade routes didn't just exchange goods, but also ideas. The Sumerians' extensive trade networks could have facilitated the spread of their stories, shaping the mythologies of distant civilizations. Alternatively, some scholars suggest these myths might reflect real, catastrophic floods triggered by climate shifts at the end of the Ice Age. Here's a challenge for you. Explore myths from your own culture and see if they share parallels with Sumerian stories. Post your findings in the comments, and let's connect the dots together. The Sumerians might have vanished, but their influence looms large in the imaginations of today's creators. Ever played a game like Civilization, or watched a show like Stargate SG-1? The Sumerians often serve as the enigmatic first civilization, inspiring plots about ancient aliens, lost technologies, and cryptic prophecies. In gaming, their contributions to science, culture, and warfare make them a staple in historical strategy games. Meanwhile, films and books often depict their cities as mysterious ruins hiding unfathomable secrets. For instance, the Ziggurats have been reimagined as alien landing pads or portals to other dimensions. These portrayals are more than entertainment. They keep the Sumerians alive in our cultural consciousness. So here's a question. What's your favorite depiction of the Sumerians in pop culture? Let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll feature it in a future video. As you've journeyed through the story of the Sumerians, you might be wondering, how much of this is factual, and how much is speculation? It's a fair question. The beauty of history, especially ancient history, is that it's part science, part puzzle. While archaeology provides tangible clues, interpretation fills in the gaps, often blending fact with imagination. Another common question, if the Sumerians were so advanced, why did they disappear? The truth is, civilizations don't collapse overnight. Environmental challenges, resource depletion, and external pressures likely played roles, but so did human factors, political strife, social inequality, and perhaps even hubris. Now it's your turn. What questions do you have about the Sumerians? Comment below, and we'll tackle them in an upcoming video. Your curiosity drives this journey, and together we can unravel the mysteries of the past. The Sumerians were not merely craftsmen or builders, they were scientists of their time. Recent studies of cuneiform tablets reveal an extraordinary grasp of astronomy and medicine. For instance, Sumerian records accurately tracked the movements of celestial bodies, laying the groundwork for modern astronomy. They recognized constellations, predicted eclipses, and even developed a rudimentary calendar based on lunar cycles. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some researchers argue that the precision of their observations suggests knowledge that might not have been achievable without advanced tools. This has fueled theories that the Sumerians may have inherited astronomical insights from an even older civilization. Could the fabled lost city of Atlantis, or a prehistoric society yet undiscovered, have passed down their wisdom? Medicine, too, was a Sumerian forte. Tablets detail treatments using herbs, oils, and minerals, alongside incantations to drive away spirits. While these methods might seem primitive, modern studies have found surprising efficacy in some of their remedies. Their holistic approach combines science, spirituality, and community, a model that resonates even in today's integrative medical practices. What do you think? Were the Sumerians intuitive geniuses, or did they have access to knowledge from a forgotten source? Let's discuss it in the comments below. If you've ever gazed at a Sumerian bas-relief or a clay tablet, you know their art and writing weren't just functional. They were symbolic, layered with meaning. Every line, every curve was a story encoded for those who could understand. Take the standard of Ur, a small ornate box unearthed in the royal cemetery. One side depicts scenes of peace, banquets, music, and trade. The other shows the brutal realities of war, chariots, spears, and conquest. Together, they paint a picture of a civilization that thrived on balance, a harmony of creation and destruction. But what secrets do these artifacts hide? Some scholars believe Sumerian art and inscriptions might contain encoded knowledge, mathematical ratios, astronomical alignments, or even maps to hidden sites. For instance, certain ziggurats are theorized to align with celestial events, suggesting they were used not just as temples but as observatories or even portals for divine communication. Another enigma lies in their cylinder seals. These small carved stones were rolled over clay to leave intricate impressions. Beyond their practical use in trade, they often depicted mythological scenes that some interpret as records of real, unexplained events, perhaps even encounters with celestial beings. Could we still be deciphering Sumerian secrets centuries from now? Or are we already unlocking truths they left encoded for the ages? Share your theories in the comments. Every perspective brings us closer to understanding. The Sumerians were pioneers in every sense of the word. They tamed rivers, built cities, and captured the cosmos in their myths. Yet, their story also serves as a cautionary tale. If they could achieve so much and still fall, what lessons must we learn to avoid a similar fate? So here's your mission. Take this knowledge and share it. Whether it's with a friend, a community, or even by sharing this video, let's keep the legacy of the Sumerians alive. And remember, the next great discovery might not be in the sands of Iraq, but in the connections we make together. Subscribe, like, and comment to join us as we uncover more secrets from the past.